Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly reset video to go over all the new activities to do this week and any modifiers for them. So we're going to start with the weekly story playlist, which this week is the Earth and Moon story missions with modifiers of Heroic, so enemies appear in greater numbers, Match Game, so enemy shields are resistant to all unmatched elemental damage, and Catapult, so grenade recharge rate is greatly increased. The first completion guarantees you a Treasure of the Ages and 20 legendary marks for the first 5 playthroughs. Next up, moving on to the Heroic Strikes. Modifiers this week are Heroic, again, so enemies appear in greater numbers and are more aggressive. Void Burn, so Warlocks make sure to dust off those Nothing Manacles, get those out of the vault for that extra scatter grenade and tracking ability. And if you have the Steel Medulla, that will work well this week. We've also got Berserk, so Minions of the Darkness won't flinch even after massive damage. And Brawler, so melee damage is greatly increased. First completion of this gives you a Treasure of the Ages chest and 10 legendary marks for your first 3 playthroughs. Following that, moving on to the Nightfall, this week is the Wretched Eye Strike, which is not going to be fun because of the Arc Burn modifier this week. So in that final boss fight, make sure to look for those shanks that come down from the ceiling because they will one-shot you if you're not careful. Other modifiers this week are Epic, heavily shielded and highly aggressive enemies appear in greater numbers. Ironclad means more enemies have shields. Catapult, so grenade recharge rate is increased. And Exposure, so guardian shields are increased but do not replenish. Next up, we have the Challenge of the Elders this week has bonus points for super kills. The other modifiers are Airborne, so players deal more damage whilst in the air, and Trickle, so the recharge rate of your abilities is significantly reduced. First completion guarantees you a legendary engram and 10 legendary marks for your first 3 playthroughs. The weekly raid this week is King's Fall, so we've got the 3 challenge modes of the War Priest, Golgoroth and Oryx for your ornaments and weapons. Crucible playlists this week are Combined Arms, which will give you a Treasure of the Ages and 10 legendary marks for your first match completion. We've also got Control and Supremacy, which will be Shax's weekly bounties. We've also got Elimination, Salvage and Rumble. All 5 of these game modes will grant you 15 legendary marks for your first match completion. Also, don't forget the Iron Banner is back later today, so one of these will change. I think it's the Combined Arms which will be the one that gets swapped, but don't hold me to that. Just to confirm then that Shax's weekly bounties are for the Control and Supremacy game modes. Off to the Iron Temple next to see Tyra's artifacts, and this week she has bought a 309% stat roll on the Memory of Fellwinter, but remember that's because you lose your super and gain an extra grenade and melee charge, and it gives you a small boost to all stats, and orbs grant melee and grenade energy. She also has a 92% stat roll on the Memory of Scory, so when your super is full, kills cause nearby ally supers to recharge faster, and finally she has an 86% stat roll on the Memory of Perun, which highlights all enemy guardians with full supers and all enemies with low health. So that's the breakdown of this weekly reset. If this video helped you in any way, please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss any future content, and I will see you guys again soon.